Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today, at the request of Patreon subscriber Dom, I am playing Rug Questing Druid Delver. Rug Delver is, of course, the tempo deck. Delver of Secrets always near the top of the format in various forms. All you got to do is figure out what colors you're playing with it. Grixis is getting the nod these days because of Orcish Bowmaster. But let's check out Questing Druid, a card that I've played against a couple times on the channel already. This is the first time I've gotten to play with it. I did immediately order a playset on TCG Player when I saw it played against me, because this seems real enough that it's worth owning. Certainly at the current price point, it's just a couple bucks. But let's read this thing. It is 1 and a green for a 1/1. Whenever you cast a spell that is white, blue, black, or red, put a +1 counter on Questing Druid. That is literally all of the rules text and casting cost and starting power and toughness of Quirion Dryad. A card that was an eternal staple in the ancient times. It was the backbone of the Miracle Grow deck. Just a cheap creature that gets bigger when you cast your cantrips. And Questing Druid has all that, and there's more. It also has an adventure. 1 and a red instant. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. Until your next end step, you may play those cards. This is pretty sweet. This is a card draw engine that doesn't actually draw cards for the purposes of Orcish Bowmaster, Narset Hullbreacher, that kind of thing. It also feeds the Questing Druid. If you were to end step Seek the Beast, untap, play the Druid, and then play like Lightning Bolt and Ponder, you immediately have a 3/3. And you've drawn 3 cards off of 1 piece of cardboard in your hand. Great rate all over on that. Also, a layer of this card that it might, I mean, it is obvious if you just like think about the rules of the game, but the Questing Druid that goes on an adventure, you can just do whenever, once it's on an adventure. The Seek the Beast cards, you have until the end of your next turn to play them. So you don't have to play the Questing Druid if you want to use your mana on the Seek the Beast cards. They all end up in exile and castable, but 2 of them have timing restrictions and the other one doesn't. I have seen opponents Seek the Beast into other Questing Druids, then they Seek the Beast again, and then they have multiple creatures just on layaway, and they're drawing tons of cards. And all of this happening just underneath a very normal Delver, Dragon's Rage Channeler, Daze, Force of Will, Wasteland sort of game plan. We have seen in the past when Delver gets playable card advantage, things start to get crazy. I don't believe this is Wrenn and 6. I don't believe this is Dreadhorde Arcanist. This might be a sweet spot, or it might be Expressive Iteration. Who even knows? But this card, very exciting. Card advantage in the Delver shell. Plus it gives you a powerful tempo creature, kind of on the house. And I want to explore this deck. Dom, thank you for sending it in. I'm excited I get to play it this quick. Let's do this thing. This is Questing Druid Rug Delver. I'm on the draw in round 1. I have some interaction, and I have the Questing Druid to dig. I'm going to keep Boseiju as your land. This is almost certainly a lands deck. Oh, okay. Kind of relieved to see Greenslin Zenith here, honestly. I'd rather play against some Depth Spile than actual lands. Ooh, that Delver is tempting. I was just going to Lightning Bolt the Dryad Arbor and hold up Daze, but now I can put Delver into play and then threaten Daze plus Bolt, or Wasteland plus Bolt next turn, and Daze in the interim. They might also just dance around all of that, and I never Daze or Wasteland anything effectively. I think I'm going to add my threat to the board, though. And I do have to do it off of Volcanic Island if my plan is to kill as many mana sources as I can next turn. I hope they just jam some 3-drop. Just put Knight of the Reliquary on the stack, and we can get out of here. Let's go. All right, Daze your jerk. Kill all your mana sources. Oh, right. I don't have a Volcanic Island anymore. I can only kill one of these mana sources. That is how Daze works. That's fine. We dealt with a 3-drop. Not going to reveal Misty Rainforest. And because Daze is in my hand, I would rather Lightning Bolt this Dryad Arbor than play the Wasteland on the Bayou. Because that does, Volk does two things here, where Wasteland only does one. Though it's possible that Wasteland would have done a better thing. Oh, we're elves. Actual Nettle Sentinel combo elves. We might be dead here. Yikes. Haven't seen this in a very long time. I'm a fan of it, but haven't seen it in a while. Okay, this is getting dazed. I'm just going to daze this now because I may never daze anything ever again. They have one card in their hand. It can't be both a mana source and natural order. At least not on its own. They do have a draw. Okay, Delver. Can we get some action here? Mishra's Bauble on the flip. I'm going to see what they're drawing with my Mishra's Bauble, and then I'll make a decision if I'm going to Wasteland or try to get ahead with Questing Druid. Bauble you. Natural order on top of the deck. Okay, I'm going to Wasteland them. Wasteland the Bayou. And I'm going to pass the turn. I really don't want to lose to land natural order. I still lose to elf. Just an elf is exactly enough. Oh, there's that lightning bolt. That would have been nice. Don't play an elf. How about that? Just pass the turn, no land, no play. That would be the ideal situation for me. I don't ask for much. Okay, not an elf. That's fine. We know their hand is natural order. If I can keep them off 4 mana, we're cooking. Delver reveals Delver. The symbiote will make it a lot harder to keep them off 4 mana because I can't bolt this Heritage Druid now. Guess I just play my other Delver and cross my fingers because Lightning Bolt does not actually help on this board very much. Gotta hope they don't draw an elf or Gaia's Cradle. Uh-oh, they're spending mana. Once Upon a Time. Okay, they spent mana on Once Upon a Time, which means that even Gaia's Cradle doesn't get them up to natural order right now. The Shep. Okay, so we are getting natural order next turn. Unless I can find some answers right now. Come on, Delver. Hook it up. Scalding Tarn on top. Delver's refused to flip. No action, no love, nothing. Okay, bad news, everybody. I think we're dead. Does bolting Heritage Druid save me here? I'm going to have to do the math on their turn. See what they want to do. Okay, so here's Allosaurus Shepherd. If I Lightning Bolt Heritage Druid, they have to pick it up. Then they replay it. Then they only have 3 mana this turn. If they've drawn a land, they win. Whatever. This is the spot I can interact here. It's not pretty though. Yep. If they just have a land, we're back to being dead. Shit. It's that land. Alright, yeah, we're super dead. Okay. Delver attacked for 0 this game, and despite dazing 2 spells successfully and drawing 2 bolts versus elves, we are still just heckin' dead. The one thing that might save me is I just shoved Bolt into this Wirewood symbiote. If they are worried about me bolting their Shepherd and then countering natural order, maybe they would slow it down, but why would you ever do that? Just shove your uncounterable, unbeatable spell, and we can leave. There's actually a really interesting learning moment here. If you read, like, oh, my opponent is a solid player, why would they bolt into Wirewood Symbiote? They must have another bolt. Or you can read, that bolt would have kept me off 4 if I didn't have this land, which is what's actually going on. Yeah, okay. Disappointing. But yeah. Elves is one of those decks that if you don't answer specifically, you're in a lot of trouble. I have Grafdigger's Cage and the Festivity and Counterbalance that are definitely coming in. I don't really like Force of Negations against these decks. Minskin Boo is additional removal. I have to assess what I'm actually cutting here, but yeah, Force of Negation only counters a few spells in their deck, and only if they don't have Shepherd. I think it's better to play to the board where you can. A Daze despite hitting 2 spells still wasn't great there. I'm going to shave on that a little bit. And then Mishra's Bauble. I understand having 4 baubles is important for questing Druid velocity, but I have to settle into being a control deck here. And I don't think I want to make a cut for Minskin Boo. Nah, I'm going to run it like this. Okay, let's go. Delver, 2 bolts, and a redraw. I will keep this on the play versus Elves. This is very close to the hand that did not win game 1, but I'm still going to run it. These are still the cards I want to see. One important difference between Questing Druid and Expressive Iteration is that it does not flip Delver on a reveal. I haven't actually done a side-by-side analysis of Izzet Delver, Grixis Delver, whatever for creature count versus spell count, but your key card advantage spell in your deck being actually a creature in one of the ways that that matters is worth something. Here is my Delver. My opponent was chatting friendly to me in the chat. They're a former patron. And, oh, I almost clicked through my Mistress Bauble. Got away with it, though. Okay. All right. I actually did F6 and then quickly undid it. I'm not going to bobble them now, because if I wait until their turn, I can get 2 chances to flip my Delver. Here is a Forest. Here's a Once Upon a Time. Allosaurus Shepherd, you got it. Now I'm going to bobble myself, and I will see if my top card is an instant or sorcery, and it's not. And because it's not, when I get to my upkeep, I'll have 2 triggers, 1 to reveal for Delver and 1 to draw a card. I'm going to put the draw above the Delver, so I get a different look. If I had seen an instant or sorcery, I would have just stacked them the other way. Here's the Murktide we saw, Delver, Volcanic Island. Still didn't flip, but at least we had a chance. I'm going to attack with Delver. I'm happy to offer a trade for Allosaurus Shepherd. I don't need to bolt this thing yet. I could even bolt it in response to an important spell, then force that important spell. Just, there's tricks here. No need to pick this thing off immediately. That'll Sentinel resolves. Here to Druid. It's also going to resolve, but I'm going to bolt Shepherd in response. I don't want them to have 3 elves here. And now I get 2 looks with Delver again, because they have a fetch land. Maybe someday. Hey! Revealing Daze. Is this a card I want access to, or should I shuffle this away? It is an extra blue card for Force. Yeah, I'll take it. Okay, Bolt plus Fetch puts 4 cards in my graveyard with 2 mana up. That's not enough to Murktide. I think I just bash with Delver. And then... they're a Cradle deck, so maybe I can't. Maybe I'm supposed to Bolt now. Yeah, I'm going to Bolt the Heritage Druid right now. And then pass with Daze available and Force accessible next turn. Or Murktide accessible next turn, with Force backup if necessary. Elvish Vij, playing around Daze. It's kind of fun that I showed them Daze, but they also have to think, but they don't know about Force of Will, so they have to kind of like play weird, but they don't know I have a hard counter. I'm also quite happy to just hard cast Daze here, if they cast something that's not Allosaurus Shepherd. Quarian Ranger. Well, I'm going to Daze it. I'll fetch the other color in my deck, reveal what I'm up to here. They saw that. They're just trying to flush it out. Probably have a natural order or some better spell in hand. I'd love to draw a blue card here and back myself up with Force. That is a blue card. I believe that I would rather shove Murktide, but is this lethal? 1, 2, 3, 4. Not quite. 3, 4, 5, 6. I'd actually need Murktide at 8 to have lethal. Really far away from that. Yeah, this is really tight. Pondering finding more action or shove Murktide, put them on a 2-turn clock with Force backup. I'm going to get Murktide in. I could have pondered, try to find a different blue card, make Murktide 1 point bigger, but that doesn't change the clock either. Glimpse of Nature. I don't think I want this to happen. Yeah, this might be bait and just Gaia's Cradle Natural Order. Or they might be out of gas. These are the things I'm hoping for. A Best Friends Club is online. Elvish Visionary plus Wirewood Symbiote. They're drawing multiple cards a turn, but they don't have mana advantage off of it. Oh, that's a scary attack. Oh, no, it's not. Right, yeah, because they have Symbiote. It's a free attack. Never mind. Okay. Nettle Sentinel, 1 mystery card in hand. Untapping my Delver so they can replay their Sentinel. 1 mystery card in hand. Come on, deck, give me Lightning Bolt. Alright, well, I have presented my lethal attack for next turn. I have bolted twice and countered 2 spells. 1 mystery card in their hand. One of us is dead here. But Seiju, they didn't need that to cast Natural Order because they have Quarian Ranger. Well, there's 4 mana in the pool. Jesus. Alright, well, we've lost. Days. Don't have it. Okay, yep. GG's. That's Elves. It's a very powerful deck. It is soft to Orcish Bowmasters, but if you don't have Bowmaster in your deck, good luck, nerd. They beat 2 counterspells and 2 bolts and a clock in both of the games. And yeah, don't forget that normal combo Elves is still a busted legacy deck, even with Newton Elves being mostly Maverick and Orcish Bowmasters running amok. This still is out there. On to the next round. You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7-Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7-Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7-Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7-Factor's YouTube for every episode of Dev Better. I'm on the draw with a classic Delver hand versus a Yorion strategy. I don't think it's reasonable that my opponent has a Yorion companion and a Lutri avatar. That seems illegal. Oh, you know what else is illegal? Delighted Halfling on the play versus my Daze deck. Guess what? I've lost. I need Lightning Bolt like yesterday. Okay, I'm going to play the card that I can play and bobble my opponent and probably die very quickly. Blooded Strand on top of the deck. Maybe I'm supposed to do the Delver trick there. Feel like it's unlikely that I'm going to have a Delver going into my next turn. Yeah, I mean, I can't counter their spells anyway. Should definitely commit to the Delver deck, or the Delver flip thing. Delver would have flipped off this Force of Will if I had waited. Not gonna lie, kind of panicking. This great hand looks like shit because of Delighted Halfling. Show me the Teferi. Send me to hell. Okay, I mean, I hate that card against me as well, but at least it's not Teferi. I could Daze a Swords to Plowshares or Prismatic Ending. Delver Flip Revealing Bolt, please, maybe? Wasteland, okay. I draw for my turn. And I didn't brainstorm to flip Delver because I would rather get the full value of all the cards off of it. People ask me that every single time, and it is rarely correct to aggressively flip your Delver at the cost of card selection on turn 1 or turn 2. I found the Bolt. Turns out, if I had brainstormed in the end step, despite my monologue, that probably would have resulted in removing this halfling. But if Bolt was the 4th card down, then I never see it in the entire game. So it's just kind of like, what do you want to play towards? And I generally want to play towards seeing more cards. I don't love wastelanding somebody who had a turn 2 Uro, but also I gotta slow them down somehow. If they start shoving 1 rings and shit, I'm never winning. This is the entire game right here. If they have something unbeatable like Minskin Boo or Comet Stellar Pup or something uncounterable right now, then they're going to win. If I can survive some reasonable collection of whatever here and bolt their halfling and untap with 3 counterspells in my hand and a bunch of threats, then maybe we're cooking. Oh wow, they just put Yorion in their hand. That sucks for them. Okay. Set me free. Let's go. No attack with halfling means they're playing around Daze. Or I guess they were playing around maybe Delver not flipping, but I brainstormed Blaster and so it was going to flip. Attack you with Insectile Aberration. Then I'm going to bolt your shitter. I'm not going to mess around trying to brainstorm into a second land here. Just send it. If they force this bolt, they could pay for Daze, and now that's just gone. Okay. I am surprised the game is in this position that it's in right now, but I'm not going to complain. They have an Uro in the graveyard if they have a land number 4 to cast it. I can Daze that fella, and I'm about to miss my land drop anyway, so I'm pretty happy casting Daze this turn. Life from the Loam. Fuck my life. Okay, well, I'm unhappy with that card. Whoever innovated putting Life from the Loam into blue decks that could cast it should have a successful YouTube channel or something, because that's a great idea. I'm going to cast Brainstorm. Nice. I found the land. Questing Druid gets something going. I don't need 3 Murktide Regents in my hand. That's a lot of that. I might want 2. Nah, I'll dig for them. I do like keeping both Dazes. Sometimes it's pretty hard to play around the second Daze. And if it's easy to play around the second Daze, I can pitch it to Force, and then we get the best of everything. Okay, 2 Force of Wills. I could have Force blue card, and Daze available to me, and then start questing underneath it. Or I could shuffle and try to hit some land drops or find some burn. Interesting, the until your next end step you may play those cards doesn't specify how. This is not any sort of alternate cost, so if I leave Force of Will on top of my deck, I could quest into it if I need it. But it's kind of a stinker if I don't actually want it. Okay. I am not going to shuffle. I'm going to put the backup force on top. I think being the tempo deck is how I'm going to win this game if it's going to happen. And I need hard counters because guess what? They just put 3 lands in their hand. There's also a reasonable option of just putting Questing Druid into play, not trying to seek any beasts. Because if I do that, then all of these counter spells buff that thing, and their life total is diminishing quickly. But Murktide Regent hits harder than that, so if I'm going to play a creature next turn, it's Murktide, not Questing Druid. Okay, this looks like Uro, who will need to be Force of Willed, because I have no other plan for that. Force pitching one of the Dazes. They're forcing me back, pitching the Yorion. Okay, I will force Uro again, pitching a Daze. Okay, Uro's back in the graveyard. Top of my deck is Delver of Secrets, Mystery card. I'm going to attack with Insectile Aberration first. If they ever panic and cast Swords to Plowshares on something that's not Murktide, I'm cooking. Yeah, I think we just shove Murktide here. Big as possible. Solo lethal creature here. They've had chances to interact with Delver and they haven't done it. They might have just been saving a big removal spell for a bigger creature. Woof, that's disappointing. Okay, that's gone. Oh geez, they have Wasteland Supreme Verdict this turn. Well, we're in a lot of trouble. I can cast the Delver from the top of my deck with the 1 land I have left. But my ability to go on quests just got a lot worse. It's possible I just completely punted that line, maybe. I mean, with Uro pending and no good answer to it. Oh, they're about to start loaming their Wasteland too, and that feeds Uro. This game is not winnable. We don't have to keep playing it. All right, I'm out. If I thought there was any world where they would do anything else, I would play it out, but there's just not. They get to completely just face up for free, cast Uro and Loam Wasteland, and I'm loam locked under Uro, and the loam feeds the Uro before I could ever make damage. Even if my hand was Force Blue card there, I still lose that game. We just don't need to spend time on those efforts. Force of Negation interacts with Life from the Loam. I like Soul Guide Lantern. I don't think I like Grafdigger's Cage. Definitely like Minsc Boo and Pyroblast. Daze kind of iffy against these decks. They got Mana Dorks and Loam and Uro. Unholy Heat can kill Uro, but so can Pyroblast, so I think that's mostly an upgrade. And chill a little bit on Mishra's Bauble. And maybe I'll go down to 1 Daze just to keep them honest, but not actually make it a plan. Okay, I'm going in. I will keep this hand. It's not exactly blazing fast, but it has lands. It's not going to lose to a single Wasteland. I can interact in multiple ways. Deleted Halfling remains busted. I'm not going to spend a Force of Will on that. Sick, didn't need to. Wasteland, you bolt, you're idiot. And because I didn't bolt in the end step, it's very clear I just drew this, so hopefully my opponent read that and is tilted about it. Okay, let's see. If they just go like land, loam, all of that is for naught. Tropical Island. Now real question. Do I force this Halfling? Force doesn't work with Halfling in play anyway, and this might be an essential mana source that I've just denied them 2 of. I could Brazen Borrow the Halfling, yeah, and save the Force, and see if they have the land drop without spewing off multiple cards on something that might not matter. Ooh, Channeler. I wish I had you a little earlier. Petty Theft the Halfling. And Halfling doesn't work like Allosaur Shepherd. I can't like wait for them to cast a spell, then bounce the Halfling and counter it. Okay, they did have a land. Does that change anything significantly? Deleted Halfling still a problem, still answers Force. The difference is, like, do I shove? Do I have Murktide around? I am going to force this thing if they have Pyroblast here. I don't know. I quit. And as hard as I'm getting pummeled, these last 2 games have felt like Magic from 4 years ago, Legacy from 4 years ago, and I mean that as a compliment. It's the Delver deck working kind of honest. And I guess I gotta play one of these DRCs. I don't have double red available to do everything I want to do. If I'd drawn a land, I'd probably just hold up Brazen Borrower. And the possibility of Pyroblast. They're fetching land number 3. I would rather see Uro than Teferi here. Okay, it's Uro. Don't waste me, bro. Okay, not a Wasteland. And they didn't kill my Dragon's Rage Channeler. I get to untap here. Cool. Possible Delirium. I'm not going to play the other DRC. I think I'm going to need to Pyroblast and Uro this turn. Volcanic Island into the graveyard. I do kind of want that, but not enough to deny a draw over it. Bobble U, see Ponder, and I did not achieve Delirium on that exchange. Bobble, found a Ponder of my own. We both drew Ponder this turn, as Garfield intended. Prismatic Ending, you got me. Brainstorm, okay. I didn't know about that one. Brainstorm, no land drop. Okay, those are all spells over there. I am still extremely worried about this Uro, but I think I'm going to DRC plus Ponder. This is a lot of looks at the mana to do everything I want to do here. Brainstorm into the graveyard. Just want red mana right now. No love. I'm going to shuffle this Ponder and reward it with green mana. It's not free to add colors to Delver. Is the lesson here. Comparisons to Expressive Iteration, all else aside, just being in Is It colors, not requiring a third color. If I was just Is It here, this would not be a problem. That on its own, even if the cards are comparable in power level, which they're not, by the way, but even if they were like the same, that is a strike against this build. Which is good, because we don't want to be comparing cards in the Delver Shell to banned cards from the Delver Shell. They drew for their turn without shuffling the Brainstorm, then they pondered and shuffled and still don't have a land drop. That means the Brainstorm was good enough to keep 2 cards from, and worth missing a land drop over. They can't Endurance with what they have currently. And I have access to Brazen Borrower now, so I'm not going to commit DRC and lose my option to Pyroblast. Taiga in the end step. Leyline Binding, that's fun. Okay. DRC is over there now. Okay, let's see if they have sculpted a hand that casts and protects Uro, because I'm kind of in trouble if they force my Pyroblast on Uro, or if they play something that is not blue, like Comet or Minskin Boo. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs, time to Brainstorm. Oh, sick. I found the One of Days that's still on my deck. Take a break, opponent. Always had it. And I am going to cast the Days with its alternate cost. I'm about to miss a land drop anyway, and this leaves up Pyroblast if they force me back. But, bad news. Okay, they didn't force me back. I was going to say the bad news was they still have Uro, but now I still have Pyroblast. And I'm still going to hold up Brazen Borrower. I'm applying no pressure here, though. I know they have 4 spells in their hand, and they're Mystic Sanctuarying up another one. They really only have Ending, Brainstorm, and Ponder in there. It makes pretty good, though. And they can fire Uro this turn and fire Uro next turn. They still could reach for Yorion if they want to take it slow. And whatever's going on in their hand, still viable. Like Comet Stellar Pup, which is not susceptible to Pyroblast. Okay, let's see what happens. I hope I just take 5 here. Made some squirrels. And now they have a 7 loyalty Planeswalker. Okay, squirrels are coming in. It's just 1 out of 6 possible outcomes. Or no, it's 2 out of 6 possible outcomes. But like if Comet just dealt 5 to me there and then died to Brazen Borrower, that's why I'm a little worried about that card. But at the same time, like, that didn't happen, so now I'm probably losing. And I think I have to attack Comet. Woof. We're in a tough spot. And the Uro in the graveyard has me permanently worried. We've seen Supreme Verdict in their deck. If I had 2 red lands here, I would have just played Dragon's Rage Channeler and hoped they didn't have Supreme Verdict, but I can't tap out into Supreme Verdict and Uro. Oh good, they rolled a 6 with Comet. We're getting machine gunned. I mean, it sucks to lose, but at least we're watching this Yorion deck just pop the hell off. And gotta assume there's Beanstalk in this deck too, because they're playing Leyline Binding. Okay, they rolled a 3. That's the rebuy. Rebought Delighted Halfling. I believe they still have 1 more activation here. Oh, they rolled another 6, so they have 3 more activations on Comet right now. Oh no. Here we go again. They rolled the rebuy. Picked up a Scalding Tarn, that's their land drop for the turn. Yeah, Comet is just mana value 2 or less, doesn't say spell or anything. They rolled a 5. Now they shoot my Brazen Borrower, and all of that without casting a single blue spell, without casting a spell at all. And I know they still have Delighted Halfling and Prismatic Ending in their hand. And because they were patient on the blue spells, this Uro will be uncounterable next turn. That was about the best thing I could draw. I have low faith that this is going to do anything that I'm happy about, but I'm going to fire the Minsc and Boo. All right, pump my hamster. Can I get a taste of Comet here? Yeah, I wasn't sure about attacking Comet last turn with Brazen Borrower, but Comet would have survived at 1 on this turn if I didn't, so gotta be happy with that exchange, I guess. They have 3 damage they can put on Minsc and Boo here if they don't use their Halfling to cast a spell. And we know Leyline Binding's in the deck, and Prismatic Ending's in their hand. Yeah, we're so freaking dead. Force of Will, JK, I don't have any blue cards. And they can still Uro with the mana they have, uncounterably. But they know that if I had a counter, I would have fought over that. And killing Uro with a spell when it's just coming back next turn, such a bad deal. It's like a negative a million for 1. Here's the Uro. Can't counter it, even if I could counter it. They did not put a land into play. Hand is still all spells. Okay, I need a Questing Druid to dig me into a lot of gas here. If we're even going to pretend to play this game. Lightning Bolt. Here I am on this mono red hand again with my mana as it is. I did mill this Volcanic Island 100 turns ago and then naturally drew Trops runners instead of a fetch land to just smooth it out. So a decision could have been made differently on this thing. I think it was right at the time, but it certainly looks bad now. And we are never ever in our lives winning this game. Okay, I'm just gonna save us all some time here. They haven't even reached for Yorion yet. They have 4 spells in their hand. I Pyroblast Uro. It just comes back uncounterably again next turn. They did everything they were supposed to do there. And that's why I like Uro decks versus Delver. On to the next round. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. On the play for round 3 with another hand that looks good. My hands looked good in all the other games too, and we haven't won any of them. But gonna try to rally here. Questing Druid, making a reasonable looking appearance here. Opponent's on 6. Opponent said they're a huge fan and they wake up to my videos every day, and then I'm gonna roll them. We'll see if that's true. Everyone say hi to Retsyke, EI. I guess you pronounce the I. Interesting decision here. Taiga Go. I could just Wasteland, or I could try to Quest. I think I'd rather get Quest going here. Cycling Lure revealed. Okay. I don't regret not Wastelanding. Another 4-color soup. Whoever popularized this stuff should chill out. Are we gonna stock some beans here? Ponder off of the white source. Oh, well, that's also the blue source, so I guess you have to. Tapping the white source is nice, though. That's less likely to be removal. Uh-oh. Ponder shuffled. Oh, no, that was their land drop for the turn. I was about to say they missed a land drop, but they did not. End of turn, I'm going to see a beast. For the first time in the league, let's go. All right, like I said, all these cards are in exiled, but only 2 of them have timing restrictions. I did not brainstorm from exile. I still generally don't like that play. I am going to brainstorm from it now. Try to get some value out of the situation. They put back Volcanic Island and Brainstorm. And then I can play Tropical Island, and I can play Questing Druid. Maybe it's right to Wasteland there, but I kind of like getting the party going. And the kind of use it or lose it on the Tropical Island is stressful to me. I mean, my hand's full of lands. I'm not going to miss a land drop. Maybe wasting and being patient is just better there. We'll see. I have a lot of creatures in play now. They got some beans. Delver flips this turn. And Questing Druid is ready to roll. Reveal Brainstorm, draw a card. My top card is another land. I am going to Brainstorm before combat, start getting my Druid awake. Force of Will on the from the the cards. I like that. I'm going to put back the 2 volcanic islands, and I'm going to wasteland their tundra, and then I'm going to bash. I could ponder for more damage here. Ponder plus bolt's actually a ton of damage very quickly. Questing Druid, seeking the beast, flips 2 lands off the top. I end up losing one of them, but that is kind of a clear on Brainstorm. And Seek the Beast is until your next end step. If I cast it now, my next end step is as soon as I pass priority. I'll wait on that. Leyline Binding, going up the Beanstalk with it. I could force this, and them being in the Beanstalk is so messed up. I have Brazen Borrower. That's not a good answer to Leyline Binding, though. I am going to force this, exiling Murktide Regent. I think I have enough damage to win the game here if I just keep the pressure up. Alright, they forced and beamed me back, pitching an Uro. I don't hate seeing that go, but they do draw a bunch of cards out of this deal. Leyline Binding, clearing my Druid, the must-answer threat of this season. And I'm going to seek some more beasts in the end step. All the beasts are going to be Volcanic Islands. There they are. Okay, Volcanic Island, questing Druid, Ponder. It's got to rebuild my thing here and get 12 damage across the board before we lose. Oh, do I think Daze is going to do anything this game? Seems unlikely. Though, their mana is actually pretty slim. They're working on 3s over there, 3 mana. Bobble you now. Force of Will on top. Good to know. And I'll attack. I'm drawing Daze off the Bobble trigger. See if they fetch here. I don't care for fetching just to hide information. Like, I think that's not very good, but if they have anything to do with their meta, fetching is fine. It did fetch away the Force. I drew the Daze. I have lethal here. The Bolt's good for 4 damage because of questing Druid. Oh, Rebeans. Alright. That's a redraw. A Leyline Binding here is just incalculable card advantage, but I do get to Daze it. Swords to Plowshares I don't get to Daze. Do I want to Bolt in the end step for velocity? I think so. Just send one upstairs here. Give myself more draws that win the game. Brainstorm in response. I'm not going to fight over that, because I could, if they find a Force of Will here, I can Daze it, and they still replace both cards, but those are gone, if true. Murktide Regent. Alright, come on, find a Bolt. Ponder, save me. Delver, Bauble, Ponder. I'm just going to shuffle this. I don't want these cards. I have win the game buttons in my deck. Brainstorm, let's find one of them. There we go. Alright. Put back Murktide Regent and Brazen Borrower. Or I actually like Brazen Borrower. Put back Murktide Regent and Delver. I suspect this won't matter, but this is how I'm going to do it. Because if I keep Brazen Borrower and I don't use Wasteland, I can bounce. Here I am again talking about bouncing Leyline Binding, like that's even remotely an option. That card has Flash and it's a double cantrip. Okay, never mind. That was not a perfect sequence, but having a protected Bolt on that last turn matters. Minsk and Boo come in here. Once again, kind of worried about Daze. Gonna want Pyroblasts, even though I have concerns that they'll actually do what I need them to do. Unholy Heat can chill. And a Mishra's Bauble can chill. Soul Guide Lantern, they are an Uro deck, but that's only part of the deck. Still think I need it. Lightning Bolt going face is a nice way to finish a game. It's not a very important game piece until they're at 3 or 6, but at that point it is very important. I don't think I win that game without double Bolt. I'll count it. I don't have any answers to Beanstalks in my deck other than counter spells. There's no Force of Vigor or any such thing. I guess Counterbalance might be worth exploring here. Okay, I will shave a Lightning Bolt, despite the words I just said about liking it. Let's go. Counterbalance, pretty embarrassing against the deck that's built to have lots of 5 and 6 drops, but it is pretty good at cutting out the engine from underneath it, and just gotta hope I can squeeze one of those two things effectively. I'll keep this hand with a nice curve to it. Ponder. Questing Druid was sick last game, though. Finally got to showcase it, and it did the damn thing. Turn 1 Delver. Are they going to Bean on turn 2? Oh, that's busted. I'm jealous of what they're doing. Still not going to Brainstorm to flip my Delver. Didn't need to. Force of Will on top. Finally rewarded. And now I just get to attack. I can Brainstorm, Pyroblast, Force of Will if I need to do any or all of those things, and if none of them are required, I can just Seek the Beast. There's a Ponder. I'm not going to Pyroblast a Ponder randomly when Up the Beanstalk's already in play. They will see plenty of cards this game. That's not going to be the choke point. Carpet of Flowers, shit. Maybe that's worth a Force of Will. Yeah, the thing I just said about them not running out of cards, I just have to make them harder to play. Okay, they just didn't make mana in the end step. I'll take that. Seek the Beast. Seek the Beast. Mistress Bauble, Daze. Okay. That Daze, I only have this turn to play it, which means I have to decide how I'm going to most frustrate my opponent into casting a spell into Daze. I think attacking just happens first. Okay, they're at 13. And I probably Ponder here. I would like to find a land drop. Yeah, I'm going to Ponder. If they try to fight over Ponder, then... Okay, I did find a land drop, and it's Wasteland. Don't shuffle my library. Mistress Bauble, target you. Force of Will on top of their deck, terrifying. And now I have to decide if Wasteland is better as Wasteland or as Seek the Beast, and I think it's actually better as Seek the Beast, and I don't think it's that close of a decision. My Daze burns off, couldn't use it. They have infinite mana here. Mince and Boo, I know they have Force of Will. Well, I have Pyroblast, so gotta fight my fight here. They get to go up the Beanstalk, and I'm gonna Pyroblast their Force before they draw a card for Beanstalk, though the card they draw would have to be an answer to Pyroblast, but not an answer to Force of Will, like whatever that looks like. I don't even know if there is a series of things that's true of. Oh wow, Force twice, just drawing cards throughout. Well, we have to beat a Minsk and Boo team. Here it comes, it's hamster time. I can attack Minsk and Boo for 3, but they have 3 cards in hand and white mana up. Mystic Sanctuary, rebuying, what is this, Ponder? Yeah, okay. Alright, I am in trouble, once again. That's been the constant state of me in this league. I'm going to start with a Ponder. I think I actually need my red mana available. Bunch of Murktides, those are not castable for me here. Shuffle, Bauble, shit. I could Seek the Beast and try to hit red land plus Lightning Bolt. Or I could Brainstorm, and I'm looking for the same thing, I just have one extra look to do it. Ugh, this is bad. Double Force, huh? Got me good. I'm going to attack first, see if I even have the out of bolting Minsk and Boo, because if they just plow this thing, that's not even there. Okay. Putting damage on that at least means they're not going to fling this and draw 4 next turn, which opens up my options a little bit. I think I'm actually going to play DRC, Bauble, and try to just wade my way through this rather than try to answer it. Pyroblast, not currently helpful. Bauble you, there's a Ponder there, but I would like more cards in my hand on my turn. I'm going to Wasteland their white source. If they're going to have a removal spell, they're going to have to carpet for white to play it. There's a Lightning Bolt. Okay, I mean, I can kill Minsk and Boo next turn, but there's a 7/7 in play. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, I don't have lethal here. They made red with Carpet of Flowers. That's weird. What does that mean? Is there a Brotherhood's End or something in my near future? Or they're just holding Pyroblast and want to make sure their spells resolve? Because there's red right here, and there's no white anywhere, and white's the color I think I'm worried about right now. Or plus Minsk and Boo play another one. That would make sense to put red in the pool. Basic Island from hand, then burnt off the red mana, so there's no white available. I am dead on board to both the attacking creature and to the Boo minusing, or the Minsk minusing. What do I need here? Brazen Borrower? Murktide Regent? Brainstorm in my upkeep, okay. There's no white to flip a Terminus with or anything there. Dress down. Well, that's annoying. I guess what I do here is bolt Minsk and Boo while I still have the ability to surveil. Because that does have to be out of play. Alright, yeah, I'll bolt Minsk and Boo. Delver of Secrets, not helpful here. Dress down, pretty solid. Force of Will in my hand. Well, I guess I just cast this Brainstorm. Everything is bad. Oof. Yeah. How does this game look? I attack with Dragon's Rage Channeler. I jump with Delver. I go to 2. They're at 8. I'm at 2. And then they're at 5 and I'm dead. Okay. We've lost this game. The double force on the Minsc Boo, too good. I had one of them covered. Maybe I need my lightning bolts in. They've shown me Minsc Boo. Still suspicious of Daze. And Hydroblast does hit Minsc Boo, Comet, that sort of thing, but I'm not really trying to play whack-a-mole with my counter spells against what they might present. Yeah, I think I'm just going to use 4 Force, 4 Bolt to handle whatever number of Minsc Boo are in this deck. On the play with a 1-land double Delver hand, I'm going to keep this. This is the life you sign up for when you're a Delver wizard sometimes. It's possible there's 1 or 2 Wastelands in their deck. They're only 60 cards. The space for it would be kind of a challenge. Ponder. That's not Carpet of Flowers. We're doing good. We're getting there. Now, real consideration for the thing that I said I don't like for the whole match so far. I am going to start pushing some damage. I would love to find a land. Okay, that's actually the nuts. Okay. Put back Questing Druid and Ponder. Okay, so flip Revealing Ponder now. Now I can fetch, play another Delver, or I can waste them. I think I'm just blazing for the exit here, get my second threat down. Daze plus Wasteland, keep them off white, keep them off anything. I can Daze a Carpet of Flowers if that's their first play next turn, before the land. The one of Daze in my deck is here. Yeah, I don't like the upkeep Brainstorm line when you're going to play a long game, but I don't know that I can beat this deck in a long game. Do I want to commit to 2 of these now? I think it matters less now than it did last turn. With only 1 Delver, now I'm more worried about running out of gas than I am about just blazing them out. Okay, I revealed Dragon's Rage Channeler, which rewards me for having spells in my hand. Waste the white source. In with the Delver, and then I'm going to DRC Ponder. DRC, Ponder, get all set up for next turn. Cycling Lorient revealed in response, okay. Found another Tundra. Oh, Wasteland's interesting. I will leave that on top. And then Ponder will reveal... So I draw the Wasteland, and then I will reveal Pyroblast to Delver next turn. Okay, let's see if they have another 1-mana removal spell. That is a Volcanic Island. That's not any of the things that we just talked about. Do I Daze the Beans? My top card is Pyroblast. There's Brainstorm under it. Yeah, I'm just going to keep beating up on everything they're trying to do here. And I will leave the Pyroblast on top. Delver flips Revealing Pyroblast. I'm going to waste their green now, because that's the Carpet of Flowers Uro Beanstalk color. They didn't put the white land into play. That's the color I most want them to not have, and then green is second. My top card's a sorcery, so Brainstorming won't get me Delirium right now. Or my top card's an instant. It's another Brainstorm. There's that Brainstorm. I am going to fire now in case I get some action here. Pyroblast to the bin. I already have one of those. There we go. Delirium confirmed. Do I want to keep holding up Pyroblast or add another threat? I think I want to hold up Pyroblast. Mill Delver. Bobble comes in. Bobble you. Uro on top of your deck. That is susceptible to Pyroblast on the front and the back. I'm drawing Channeler here. They would need a green source to play that Uro. Ooh, that doesn't cast Uro. No sweeper? Sweeper, no sweeping? Leyline Binding. Okay. I have used all of my Dazes. I believe there's only 1 in the deck. Yeah, there's only 1 in right now. And I am going to Brainstorm. I could come up with Force Blue card here. Ooh, that's interesting. I'll leave that on top. That actually is a cool answer to Leyline Binding right now. Wow, this is a lot of this. Okay. Put back the 2 Channelers, and then Binding's going to happen. Not finding a land there's tough. I would have loved to Brazen Borrow the Binding with Pyroblast still up. They attack you with Insectile Aberration. And I'm going to pass here. I think the ability to Pyroblast an Uro that might gain life or bounce Leyline Binding is really tempting. Another Binding. Okay, that resolves. And I gotta hope they don't have Force of Will in their hand. Petty Theft, the one that's on DRC, because Delver will be little again. They do go to 1 if they force here and probably lose the Uro, but this is a tight spot. We got a thanks for getting me into Legacy, GG's. GG's, and thanks for playing Legacy. It rules. On to the next round. We won a match. Let's go. The rally starts now. The Command Tower software by Eminence Gaming is perfect for hosting TCG events. It features easy-to-create event registration for 1v1 and 4-player Swiss structured tournaments. Event management has never been so simple, and it's web-based, so there's no download required. Get access for just $5 at eminence.event/subscribe. On the draw in round 4, I like Dragon's Rage Chandler, but I'm not keeping a 6-lander in Delver. Here we go. Keep this one, and I think I bottom Lightning Bolt. Just Force of Will makes me more comfortable on the draw. Well, I made the right choice. We appear to be against some oops all spells type BS. Let's see if we are dead right now, or if they need to pass the turn here and give me a chance to dig for more forces. There goes the force. Okay, I have a lot of looks here. I could hold up Brainstorm, or I could play Dragon's Rage Channeler. I think I'd play the Channeler. Because if this is like Black Stompy and not oops all spells, I would rather have the creature in play. Guess what? I found a free counterspell. It's Daze. Okay. Leyline of the Void on top of their deck. So this is Black Stompy. Or it could be that Iggy Pop deck that did well at that European tournament. But they just saw me keep a card with Dragon's Rage Channeler. Yo, okay. This is starting to come together. An attack with DRC. They could have Bowmasters. They could have Oppos. A lot of stuff could happen here. And I'm just going to hope that most of it doesn't. In the end step, I think I Brainstorm. Could be risky. Please don't Oppo me. Brainstorm. I'll put that in the graveyard. I'm just trying to get going somewhere. All right, big mercs. I like that one. Okay, put back Scalding Tarn and Volcanic Island. And then I'll go to my turn, play Volcanic Island, attack for 1, and then shove a Murktide Regent. And I'm not even worried about Oppo here, because I have that covered. This is actually really funny. I can daze it and cost them 2 life. I can also just bounce it in response to my fetch. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Petty Theft, which also gives me a Surveil. But fetch land in my graveyard. I know that's not going to be reliable. And get a Tropical Island. Obviously, I can't Murktide now, but I did just get more information about their hand. They lost 2 life from Ancient Tomb. And I'm still holding 2 free counters, and now I have another threat in the bank. Urza's Saga. Okay. Got to get this game over quickly. That's what I'm hearing. Now they can pay for days in a coherent way. Dark Ritual. Uh-oh. 6 mana in the pool. What is going on over here? All right, back down to 4. They untapped one of the lands. Beseech the Mirror. Terrifying. I'm going to let that resolve and then try to counter the spell that comes out from under it. Face down card, Sheoldred. All right, Force of Will, target Sheoldred. DRC. I'll keep that Brainstorm on top. And their hand now is Oppo Agent. All right, cool. They're just done. Yeah, I think Murktide was going to coast-to-coast them. Murktide, they had Oppo Agent and Leyline in their hand, facing down a bunch of damage with only Ancient Tomb. Black Stompy with Beseech the Mirror. They do have some combo lines. They do some stuff. Force. And Counterbalance, probably unreliable, but they do have the initial mana sources, the Petals, the Chrome Moxes, the Dark Rituals that I'm more likely to hit. I saw Urza's Saga. Maybe I should leave the Wasteland to answer that without bringing in Meltdowns. Null Rod can stop Helm kills from happening. Probably want Null Rod against any deck that has Beseech the Mirror in it. That just seems like a reasonable intersection of thoughts in my head. We saw Sheoldred, kind of like Unholy Heat. Maybe my Baubles chill if I'm bringing in Null Rod. This deck does eventually outmuscle Daze. Lightning Bolt hits all of the creatures that I'm worried about. Yeah, I think I'm just going to cut all of my Baubles here and run it like this. This is all of my reasonable blue cards to support my 6 forces. Not bringing in Hydroblast just as a blue card. And some sideboard stuff. And do I want Minsk and Boo? We've seen Oppo. We suspect Bowmaster. I can't just cut all my bolts. Okay. I am going to run it like this until I get more information about the matchup. If I see different stuff, I will make different changes. Okay. I'm going to keep this. Starting on Leyline. Pretty good. Vault of Whispers. Pithing Needle. Oh god, please don't name Wooded Foothills. I'd lose my mind. They'll probably name Wasteland. Scalding Tarn, so close. Oh, wow. That's why it's important to move your fetches, split them around. Don't let opponents do that shit to you. A Volcanic Island, Delver of Secrets. Drawing the Days means I don't have to ponder, and I'm not going to waste because I'm playing Null Rod next turn, and hope to just mop that up for free. Save the Wasteland for an Urza Saga. Oh, they were so close with that Pithing Needle. A 4 mana in the pool. Or 4 mana available. There's nothing in the pool. Ooh, they elbow tapped and then untapped. That kind of rules, because now I know they have a 4-drop that I can cut 2 mana out from under them by playing this Null Rod. And I'm just playing the Wasteland. I'm not giving them Oppo Agent here. And they didn't float black, so I don't have to think about Oppo, just getting in. All our black sources are gone now. They went from 4 mana, 2 of it black, to just 2 colorless. Just like that. 4 colorless. Okay, now I have to actually start winning. I survived the don't die phase of the game. Now I need to win. I'm going to fetch for... What are even my green cards? It's just Questing Druid. Yeah, I'm just getting red. Dragon's Rage Channeler, which is a 1/1 forever. Delver of Secrets. Wasteland the Ancient Tomb. Whatever you got, I just don't want you to even cast a spell this game. Here I come. Alright, yeah, they've had enough. Delver of Secrets versus Ancient Tomb strategies. Sometimes you just tee up and blast. On to the final round. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop, and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. On the draw, in round 5, we've got a positive record on the line, rallied back from an 0-2 start, and I'm not going to keep this 0-lander in Wasteland's a land, but you know what I mean, barely. I will keep this hand with 3 1-drops and a force. Do I bottom Bolt or Questing Druid? Questing Druid needs a second land before it does anything, but it's very good once I find that. I think I'm going to bottom the Questing Druid and keep the Bolt. Because I have so many 1-drops, I can spend my mana even if I draw the other land. And then this hand acknowledges combo and acknowledges creatures with both Force and Bolt. Okay, another DRC. I'm just fetching here. If they Dark Ritual Oppo, I have Force. So I don't give that a whole lot of respect right away. And I am going to lead on DRC here because I feel like I need some card selection. If I force something this turn, I'd like to see a card. If they play a creature, I can bolt it in my upkeep and then see a card. Finding the second land will take me from still a fine hand on 1 land to just firing on all cylinders. Really hope this is like Storm or Doomsday and not Death Shadow, where they're going to hit me with their own Wasteland in a second. End step Brainstorm looking a little stormy over there. They got a Polluted Delta. Uh-oh, Grixis stuff. Bowmaster's a problem. Don't play that. Ugh. Well, I will try to engage with this on the cleanest axis I can. Bulk on top. Okay. I at least have a game plan if this doesn't work. Cool. All right. We're in business, team. Backup Channeler, and I don't think I bolt pre-combat here. Actually, now that I know they're a Bowmaster deck, I think I just play the Delver and try to 3/6/9 them. Another Bowmaster. This gets to answer one of the things. Going for Delver, okay. In my upkeep, I'm going to bolt the Bowmaster. I could entertain arguments for going face here, but I'd rather just not have Bowmaster in play. Killing this thing makes cards like Brainstorm playable. Speaking of Brainstorm, there it is. I'm just going to graveyard everything and try to hit Delirium. Didn't get there. This might have been a reckless line that I took. I got rid of a Brainstorm, which triggers DRCs, and I got rid of a Wasteland after they missed a land drop. I think I just fucked that up really bad. I just got really excited to get smushing, and that's not how that worked out. Brainstorm from the opponent, and me without my own Orcish Bowmaster. Mishra's Bauble after their Brainstorm. They're showing me how Delirium works, because I don't understand it. Bolted my creature. Okay, now they have 4 cards in hand with a redraw on Bauble in the bank, and I'm just laying around on nothing. Very interested in drawing a Seek the Beast here. Ooh, attacking. They must know I'm getting Delirium. That's why that attack makes sense. Am I drawing a Bauble? What? Why? Okay. Alright. That's not what I thought was going to happen. Unless they're ready to just start killing my creatures and they know I have nothing and might as well collect some damage. That's more likely. Another Brainstorm. Remember when I put mine in my graveyard? Whoops. I honestly think what happened on that Brainstorm is my brain, I was like, I cast a spell, I get to surveil twice, and then I see a bunch of cards, but I forgot I was surveilling off of a Bolt and not surveilling off of a Brainstorm already. And that was my card selection. Just beefed it. Seek the Beast is nutso here, though, if I can find one of them. Just give me a million cards. Hey, Ponder. Let's get started. Mishra's Bauble, Wasteland. They have missed all of their recent land drops. I could shuffle or I could take Wasteland to try to get some cheese value here. I am going to try to get cheese value here. I'm going to take their Volcanic Island and I'm going to fetch now before they can do Stifle or whatever. Because they Brainstormed last turn and still didn't shuffle, didn't hit a land drop. I think they're Brainstorm locked. I mean, with 6 cards in hand, but I'm going to try to make them harder to cast because I'm too far behind. Wasteland of your own. Okay. Delver. Disappointing. I did just hang this green land out here, which is cool because I have another one, and that's the color I care about way less. Yep, they wasted the green one. Alright, deck. Seek the Beast. Seek the Beast. Force of Will. Hate my life. I deserve this. I punted 5 turns ago. A Delver, they should know this card from the Brainstorm they cast 2 turns ago. Yep. Daze. Alright. Good to know about. I'm not currently worried about that. I am a little worried about that. Multiple Wastelands. Which means they had those on multiple turns and just never used them. Were they waiting for a splash color? Because it's turn 7. They've Brainstormed twice. They never shuffled. And that was their 3rd and 4th land of the game. So they have been sandbagging those, waiting for something to happen. Interesting. Well, I'm going to bolt this Delver. They'll probably do it on their turn. Bolt Delver in your upkeep. I can still pay for Daze. Barely. Force of Will pitching Daze. Okay. The race is on. That's a force out of their hand. If I draw Murktide, we're cooking. Seek the Beast still works too. They're down to 2 cards in hand plus whatever they draw off this Bauble, but I am running out of time. Come on, spell. Another Lightning Bolt. I will once again do this on their upkeep. Bolt the Insectile Aberration. Okay, that's gone. We just went from a 2-turn clock to a 6-turn clock. They're still bobbling. They still know what I'm drawing next turn. Seek the Beast. Murktide Regent. Dragon's Rage Chandler. Okay, I have a 4-4. Or a 3-3. I have 4 card types in my graveyard. That's where the 4 in my brain came from. But I have the biggest creature in play. Certainly this Grixis deck doesn't have a single removal spell in their 5-spell hand. They found the land. Now they just Lightning Bolt and get me out of here. Or shove Murktide and have the biggest thing that my deck doesn't really answer. Disappointing. And if I don't draw my own Murktide, I am both dead, because that's the biggest creature, and my DRC has to fight. Yeah, cool. Alright. Wasteland a turn late. I actually think if I draw Wasteland last turn and DRC this turn, I'm doing well. But yeah, I just fucked up that early interaction. Pyroblast coming in. Counterbalance I like. Force of Will I do not like very much. And the Festivities mops up any number of Bowmasters. They are Grixis, so they're going to have bolts from Instant Boo. I don't really like that. And they do have red cards. I don't think I want Hydroblast in my deck just for DRC and Lightning Bolt. And Bauble honestly makes me really nervous with Bowmasters. Just a kind of involuntary extra trigger if they hide their Bowmaster. Though I am a deck that taxes Lightning Bolts pretty hard with my early drops. Still don't think that's right. We saw Murktide and can probably assume DRC. I don't think I want Soul Guide Lantern, though. This is what I'm doing. Ooh, 1 colored mana. I am going to keep, though. If they waste me on the draw against DRC, then I waste their next 2 lands. We get to do that ugly Delver game where nobody has any mana and just 1 creature wins the game. I hope they cast Ponder or some shit that I just could not care about here. Lightning Bolt. Okay, I care a little bit about that one. I'm still going to Wasteland them. Ooh, okay. I think I still Wasteland here, but that card is tempting to do something different. I'm going to try to shut it down. No game plan. No Bowmasters. You need 2 mana for that one. If they waste me, I can Brainstorm. Try to hit my next land drop. I could just Brainstorm now. It's not pretty, but it gets ahead of Bowmasters, and I might be able to hide this Wasteland or set up Questing Druid in a way that's advantageous. And if they want to Pyroblast or Daze this, Underground Sea in response. Okay. If they Dark Ritual out Bowmaster here, I'm quitting Magic. Okay. They fetched in response, then didn't do anything with the fetch, which means that I can Wasteland them again. I'm just putting 2 lands on top. I'll draw through both of them after I Wasteland them twice. Or Wasteland them again, and then I'm going to quest 2 fresh ones next turn. There's your Emergency Brainstorm. We will see if this aggression pays off. Could have a handful of 2-drops over there. They could have a handful of lands, and I've done nothing at all. If they Wasteland me, I know I have my next 2 land drops covered. And their fetch lands. They do have Wasteland, okay. I am going to fire a Brainstorm here. If I can find a 1-drop to get in the mix, I'll be pretty okay with that. Ooh, they're pausing on this Brainstorm. Please Force of Will this. That would be so good for me. Nope, no love. But I did find a 1-drop. Put back one of the Questing Druids. Or I redraw one of these cards. So, yeah, I think I put back one of the Druids and I redraw the Unholy Heat. Then I just play DRC and get to work. Bauble. I get to see Unholy Heat here. A Volcanic Island, Dragon's Rage Channeler. Go get them, Sparky. Do they have more mana? Or do I get to run away now? Oh yeah, we did it. They're passing the turn. We made it through the wilderness. Oh, sick. Mishra's Bauble gives me Delirium. Wasteland on top. I guess I shuffle that away anyway, but I would like it in my deck. Or no, I get to draw it. Right. Because I'm bobbling you. That's how that works. All right, yeah, they're good. They're good. Nice. Wasteland strat paid off. And I think this is still the deck I want to present for the final games. Let's go. Positive record on the line comes down to a game 3 in a Delver pseudo mirror. They chose Bowmaster. I chose Questing Druid. Who will reign supreme? Okay, I like my hand a lot. I'm going to keep it. Underground Sea. Mishra's Bauble. And they're bobbling me right away with no additional play. Drawing that land was great. Now I get to ponder. I don't even have to think about Stifle. I have enough lands that I'm not super worried about Wasteland. How do I want to stack this, though? I think I just want another land in my hand. And next turn, if I shove Counterbalance, I'll have a 1 on top, which is most of the important spells in this matchup. Or at least most of the spells in this matchup. I guess the important ones cost 2 or 7. End step Brainstorm from my opponent. An aggressive use of that card. And if they Wasteland me, I can go Delver, and I know Brainstorm's on top. Channeler. Yeah, I probably have to kill that this turn. And I think I'd like to use Unholy Heat to do it. No, and the Festivities. This is not getting better. Never mind. I don't know what I'm saying. Let's get these Festivities out of here. I was thinking that kills Bowmasters and the other creature later, but so does Unholy Heat. Who cares? Is Brainstorm unlikely to give them Delirium as one single spell? They did mill a land. That's 3 card types. They can answer this End the Festivities by either stacking a new card type on top of the deck and then casting a free spell, or actually forcing it. Cool, it's just gone though. Delver in play. I know I have a spell on top. Bowmaster answers this cleanly, but let's make him have it. That's the game, right? Okay, another Wasteland. They got me on that. And they're passing. That's not a Bowmaster. Delver trigger. If I reveal here, it's too late. It's the next 2. We're in there. I'm going to attack first and then probably just shove counterbalance. They haven't really had an opportunity to daze. Maybe, I don't know, like, they didn't do anything. What am I worried about here? I'm worried about Pyroblast. I'm worried about Daze. I can play around Daze next turn. I can never play against Pyroblast, but I'll just pass, actually. I don't think they have Bowmaster, or they would have killed Delver. Okay, they have a Brainstorm. I'm going to Brainstorm in response. I already was pretty sure they didn't have Bowmaster. Now I'm totally sure. Questing Druid Counterbalance. These are good cards. I don't want to have to shuffle any of this away. I'll put back one of the Wooded Foothills and just float a Ponder on top. If I lose a card from this hand because I have to shuffle, I think Ponder's the one I care the least about. I'm not worried about Wasteland. I can daze a Murktide Regent. That rules. Now I can't daze Murktide anymore, but they have land number 3. Passing their turn, I draw a Ponder, and I'm going to attack with Insectile Aberration. I'm attacking first because if they're sandbagging a removal spell, and then they see Counterbalance on the stack, they obviously just have to fire it off. But I might sneak 3 damage through here. I do not expect Opposition Agent from this deck, and I have it covered twice, even if they do. Okay, here we go. Scary spell on the stack. You can Pyroblast this, you can force this, or you can live under its oppressive rule for the rest of the game. Brainstorm in response. All right, it's an emergency. They're looking. And we're in there on the counterbalance. I am not going to cast my Ponder here. I like having a Shuffle available. If they cast 2 spells, I can daze a 2-drop here. Petty Theft targeting and counterbalance. All right, let's see if I get it for free. Pyroblast on top of my deck. All right, I will daze your Petty Theft. Picking up Volcanic Island. That's the one I'm more worried about getting wasted. Okay, I know there's a 1 on top, and so do they. That 1 also answers Murktide Regent cleanly if I just draw it. So I'm not going to try to shuffle and spike a Murktide if they play one of those, because I'm covered. Wasteland, annoying, but I have a land drop ready, and they know it. Orcish Bowmasters, they know this is gonna get through. I think I fetch here. I have the Unholy Heat, at the very least. I would like a chance to actually counter this thing. Volcanic Island, and show me the 2. Questing Druid, show me the 2. Dragon's Rage Chandler. Alright, I still have a 1 on top. Fair enough. Bowmasters is in. Dealing 1 to me. If they Wasteland, I'll heat. Okay. Heat right now. They saw this 1,000 years ago. They know Daze will work if they have that here. But, like, Spell Pierce or similar do not work. Blusterstorm does. Daze, okay. My top card's a 1. Luckily, I don't have a lot of intentions of drawing more cards this game. They're down to 3 cards in their hand, and one of them is a land. Volcanic Island, I picked that up off Daze, they knew about it. Now I actually have a really interesting situation of, I could Questing Druid, or I could DRC plus Ponder. Ponder gives them a Bowmaster trigger, obviously, but that's not that big of a deal, and it sets up counterbalance potentially. I guess if I don't get Delirium here, I actually just lose my card straight up. Shit, I didn't think about that, and now it's too late. Oh, bummer. Yeah, it did not occur to me that my 9-card graveyard would not have Delirium already, but I deserve this. Yeah, I'm just going to pass. I'm not giving them a free lunch. I wish I had left up Questing Druid. Nobody knows what's on top of my deck right now. They get some combat in. Smart not attacking with Bowmasters. I would make that trade if it was offered. If they saved the Murktide for now, it's a pretty good spot to send it. All right, Ponder, come on, deck. Counterbalance. Revealed Wooded Foothills. All right, this counterbalance has done nothing at all. Glad I didn't Ponder. Wooded Foothills does not give me Delirium. Would have lost my DRC. I do get Delirium if they counter Seek the Beast next turn, because that's a creature when it's in the graveyard. Okay, do you have the Murktide? I'm a little worried, not gonna lie. Okay, second Bowmasters, don't need to reveal. We know that is gonna work. Kill my DRC, my poor sweet little angel. Never had a chance in this world because its father did a bad job casting it. Okay, Questing Druid. I think I want to use that as instant speed, card advantage, and information. I can change the top of my deck 3 times this turn, or twice. I can reveal 3 cards. I have Natural Trigger, Fetch, and Dig. I think I'm just going to let this 4 through. I'm still winning this race right now. End step. I'm going to Seek a Beast. They played a Wasteland. Card advantage without drawing cards. Does not get Pyroblasted. Lightning Bolt and Questing Druid. Or no, that is the Questing Druid. Lightning Bolt and Scalding Tarn. There is... Oh wow, they scooped. I was out of Volcanic Islands. They could have wasted me off red there, I think. Is that true? Oh no, there was 4. All right, yeah, I would have figured it out. Cool. We quickly lost the 2 matches where we were just kind of playing Izzet Delver with bad mana, and then we started drawing and casting Questing Druid, and then the league got a lot better for us. Turns out, when you change the entire composition of your deck to support a specific engine, it helps when you draw that engine. Maybe in the early games I wasn't prioritizing enough. I know I bottomed this on mulligans and shuffled it away with ponders pretty often. I kind of wanted it in the bank for later. Kind of let the Daze DRC Delver action do its work early, and then someday I'll find Questing Druid. Maybe I should just prioritize having them in my, or at least the first one in my hand, even on mulligans and early cantrips, and then just let the good times roll as soon as it's reasonable to do so. I do not know if this is better than Grixis Delver. Also, this build is only green for the Questing Druid and the sideboard Minskin Boo. We could just play Tarmogoyf if that becomes appropriate. Could have Veil of Summers and Carpet of Flowers and stuff like that in the sideboard if that becomes appropriate. Could play Collector Roof instead of Null Rod. That's a thing. There's a lot of build in this space, a lot of flex. Hooting Mandrills is a card that we could play. Hooting Mandrills also triggers up the Beanstalk, just saying. That starts to become a different deck. But this is the very latest, what if we played Questing Druid like EI in Izzet Delver kind of question, and it was good. It wasn't EI, but it was really good. And this card is definitely worth exploring moving forward. Dom, thank you for asking me to play this. I was very excited in the couple times I've played against it already on the channel. Glad I got to play it myself. Everybody else, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon and the sponsors, all the stuff that keeps the channel going, and I will see you next time.